Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the start of the Road to Diamond series. Obviously, it's going to take us some work to get from where we're at right now in Plat 1 all the way up to Diamond, and we've got all of Season 14 to get there, but we're going to need a pretty strict training regimen in order to make that happen. That being said, folks, I have devised what I believe is a pretty solid training routine that we're going to go through just about every day here to try to make this happen. And this is based on a bunch of research that I've done, some YouTube videos that I've watched, the things that I think are going to be the most useful for us to get out of Plat and up into Diamond as quickly as possible. Every session that we play, especially when we're focusing on training, is going to start with 15 minutes of free play focused on controlling the ball, touching the ball, making touches towards the net, keeping control of the ball, and just sort of getting familiar or refamiliarizing ourselves with the mechanics of the game, especially implementing any new mechanics that we're practicing along the way. Now, it's especially important that during these first 15 minutes of free play, we are spending time focusing on the mechanics that we're comfortable with and that we're focusing on touching the ball and making good contact with the ball. This, of course, is useful for us because it's going to help us get more consistent with our touches, and it's also going to help us figure out how we can most effectively touch the ball in strange circumstances. The next 15 minutes of our session is going to be spent in this wall shots training pack created by Poquito. And whether or not we complete all the shots in the pack doesn't really so much matter. It's more just spending 15 minutes working on wall shots, getting more consistent with the mechanic of wall shots. We don't necessarily even care about hitting air dribbles for these. We want to really just hit the ball off the wall at the net. As long as we can get the ball off the wall and score it, that's all that we're focusing on at this point in time. As we get more consistent with this, we'll want to turn some of these into air dribbles. For now, the goal is just to score as many of these on the net as possible, whether they're air dribbles or not. After that, we jump back into free play. We're going to go to 80% speed here. The focus of this next couple minutes is going to be on mechanics like speed flips and half flips and recoveries and all sorts of things that are going to help improve our overall speed of gameplay. Working on things like speed flips and wave dashes, like half flips, and just hitting the ball around the field and implementing these different mechanics. We'll spend about 15 minutes doing these things before we speed it back up and try doing some of these mechanics again at regular speed. After all of that, we're actually going to take some time to try to get ourselves more comfortable with flying in the air backwards. Flying backwards is something that's super uncomfortable for everybody at first to learn, and it's very uncomfortable for me right now. I'm pretty comfortable with my car in the air facing forwards, but backwards is a whole other story. Only after that approximate hour of training will we finally cue into our first casual game of the evening. All of the first couple of casual games of the night are to get ourselves used to doing all the things that we just practiced when we're having to do them around actual players. To do any of these things around real people presents a challenge that you can't really get in free play or training packs. There's no way that in a training pack somebody can set up every possible type of shot that you're going to have to hit. Jumping into some actual games will help you get the exposure you need to these techniques in front of actual live players. Only after completing this almost hour of training will we finally actually jump into ranked games. Hopefully going through these different training steps will accomplish a lot for us, help us get more confident, more comfortable in a lot of different areas of the game, make playing the game a little bit easier for us in any circumstance. And that's the goal of this whole Road to Diamond series, is going to be consistency and being able to do what we got to do when we got to do it. I hope that this video helped you to get some ideas for things that you can do in your training to help you rank up, and I hope that you stick around and watch some other future videos as we go through the Road to Diamond series. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Mr. R, and I'll see you guys in the next one.